I have like 40 more tabs open. It's all about this. Okay, let me hype myself up. You ready? Clear my throat. Let's get some water. Okay. Deep breath. Stretch a bit, chat. Stretch a bit. Arms up. Turn to the side. Feeling my spine crack, chat. Turn to the other side. Spine crack. We're getting my ribs in place. Back and forth with the neck. Rolling around, chat. Okay. Blood pumping. Blood pumping. Grummz. Thousands of years ago, Gamergate 1 raged on, and one of the heroes of the gamers was a man who went by Grummz, a former Blizzard employee, just like that other cockroach guy, who rode on his laurels and his work history, crowdfunding a game to the tune of, I've heard millions of dollars for this game called like Firefly or some shit. The game is completely unimportant because it has never been completed. Grummz is like 60. He's an old man, and he's on Twitter, and he's like a culture warrior. You see him constantly. I think Elon Musk even replies to him. But he's one of the cool guys on Twitter that has this huge following. And this, of course, inspires a lot of ire towards him. So this guy called MLVP, who... show his face. What's the load?
Well, because
this guy sucks. This video sucks. This guy is a smug. Like, I don't know why he's in this green room. It's like he's waiting for a surgery or something, like a British NHS hospital. He just had this green, desaturated look. He looks like he's trying to look like Hassan Piker. He looks like he talks like a and he's like a smug, preening leftist. So this video, to warn you, is absolutely insufferable. But it is an expose on Grummz, and it has receipts, and it broke the story. In general, what they did, this guy or people around him that he knew, took known information about Grummz, and this is an important cybersecurity lesson for all of you. Took important information, new information about Grummz, and they looked up on public leaked databases that information. And this is a fun story that I can actually have a personal anecdote to. His password never changed, even though his email addresses and usernames would. So he used a very specific password, and his password could actually be searched in these databases. And because he used a very specific password on a multitude of usernames and email addresses, it was actually possible to identify him by his plain text password across very old database breaches, which is very unusual because usually you think it's username or email. In his instance, he tried to be clever, but because he used the same password on a bunch of sites, they were able to find out his broader internet history. In particular, they found LLCs that he had incorporated in his mother's name. They believed to be a tax thing, so for him to dodge taxes. It is my understanding that he either had or has $250,000 back taxes owed to the IRS, despite making hundreds of thousands of dollars crowdfunding for his game and being big famous internet man. But the real thing that they found that was surprising was that Grummz had a empire and a alter ego. He owned a website that was a repository for his own fan fiction. And let me get my notes up. I have these because there's a lot to cover. That's not like because it's quotes from the video. So it was $1.6 million I wrote for his actual crowdfunding for his games. He was involved in World of Warcraft. He claims to be a developer for World of Warcraft, but that is disputed. A lot of people have said that he worked in middle management. So even when World of Warcraft was at its peak, everyone in Blizzard hated their middle managers. And they said in particular he was very difficult to work with. But what he did is he has a website for catfight fanfics where he goes by Little Debbie and purports to be a woman. These fanfictions are violent. And I don't use that term lightly. The themes of this are that two women are having a fight. Now, I can imagine that there would be a niche market for like lesbian wrestling, where in the traditional sense of wrestling, they're trying to pin each other on the ground, like the actual sport. Grummz does not write that. He writes violent fan fiction that involves cries of pain, injury. Stomping is a thing where a woman will just stomp on another woman's vagina in the fan fiction. So at no point ever in any of these fan fictions is there like ecstasy or like love, compassion. It's all like two women get into a big fight and then they stomp each other in the pussy and they kick each other and they pinch each other's tits. And it's just like this obviously like sadistic approach to lesbianism that is very bizarre, especially when you know that he's an old man. Around the time, by the way, that this fan fiction site was taking off, he got a divorce. So in my opinion, he became a bit of a gooner, started indulging his gooning a little bit too fervishly. It became known to his wife that he was gooning, and then she left him. And then after she left him, he went full on out stomping sadism. That became his... the world wonders why. Then, that's not all. The allegation from this guy is that one of the companies that Grummz owned after the crowdfunding for his video game was an outright studio where he would film women wrestling. And to do this, to accomplish this, he went out and bought 5 different red cameras. If you do not know what a red camera is, that is a $50,000 4K film company ready camera. It's something that records at a level that is ready for the big screen. And he bought multiple of these because when you do a production, you want if something happens, instead of shooting it 3 times with one camera, you film it from 3 different angles with 3 cameras one time. So you get the women to wrestle. He spent, I think $150,000 is what they said. And I don't know if that's each or if that's all together. I think that might even be... I think the cameras were like $30,000, they said. So it would be $150,000 for all 5. And then he filmed his lesbian wrestling on those cameras that the money could have only come from the crowdfunding money from the allegation. So there was one of the flimsiest allegations that he made was that there was specifically one MySpace account, to give you an idea of how old this is, one MySpace account where it was called Debbie Chan, which is the name of the Grummz fan fiction alter ego, that had the email address Pretty Little Girl 19, I think, 16, Pretty Little Girl 16, which is obviously a little bit suspicious. Though Grummz has said that he's into con in the past. And when people called him out on this, he retweeted himself like belly button or something. I don't want to show it on screen because I don't know what that anime thing is, but to me that's very suspicious. It's not like outright explicit. It's just like he's just poking like an anime girl belly, and it's a little bit sus. And it came immediately after people said that he was into love. I don't know what's going on with that. I have enough, like Debbie Chan is like such a generic name that I can believe some other random person created that account, but I figured I would bring that up for completion's sake. The cat fight website, by the way, was registered under his mother's name. So his mother technically owns, and she's 80. So it's either a tax thing or like an anti-doxing thing because he was afraid of this. The IRS got a $260,000 lien placed against him after he crowdfunded the money for his game. Mentioned his wife divorced him. So here's the highlights of his fan fiction. You ready? Mark's self-insert character stomps on the crotch of a character named after his ex-wife. Oh, I forgot he named characters and his fan fiction after his ex-wife, and then his lesbian persona is the one doing the stomping on her. So I don't think there's much wiggle room there. I think we know what his feelings are towards women after his divorce chat. His self-insert character mutilates the same character with the zipper saying, "I'll make sure you never f anyone again." The ex-wife character repeatedly screams, "No, don't do it," cries, kicks, and convulses. In a different story, a woman is with a spiky high heel, gets her stomped until she passes out from pain, and then she wakes up and continues violating her until she passes out again, etc. He scratches up a woman's cavity with long fingernails. Ouch. There is painful women being left unconscious from being beaten so badly, women being suffocated from having their stepped on, and lots and lots and lots of stomping and kicking with high heels. So this is our culture warrior, and that's what he's up to in his free time. When you donate to his video game that is never, ever, ever coming the out, because it's been in production for like 10 years now, and it's had no progress whatsoever, and he's buying $50,000 red cameras to shoot lesbian wrestling. He had a reaction, basically. Let's go over his reaction. We got some posts from Zitter. Grummz says, "The lefties went too far. They doxed me, tried to get me with bounties, and then went to the dark web to nab plain word passwords and emails to try and cancel me for stuff 20 years ago, which turned out to be nothing. They put me in a position where I have no choice but to destroy their ideology." Oh man, you didn't want to do that. So this guy, who's like a 16-year-old perma-gooner who shoots and writes lesbian fan fiction as a tree, is saying, "Silly liberals. Now that you have cornered me, now that I have no out and you have cornered me, I now have full power. I can show you what I'm really capable of, you libtards." And he's just going to like unleash his ultimate form, the ultimate Grummz form, and he's going to bring them all low. He's like, this is what happens. This is your brain on anime. This guy is like, he's like, "Ho hum, what a useless transformation. So your hair is different. So what?" He's like, thinks he's like Cell or Freezer or some shit. He's about to like nuke planet Earth with his Kamehameha. You know what scoop on Grummz is? Over 20 years ago, I ran a very successful, very profitable softcore company as an easy side gig. We mostly did stories in anime art, all outsourced and put under various pen names. I got pretty good at photography. That's how Erica's favorite photo of herself, I'm proud to have taken it. I spilled the beans on Flashcast tonight, and then he advertised Yellow Flash Guy, which I'm pretty sure is one of the involved in Comicsgate. Oh, this is his character, by the way. I don't think that this is not safe for work, but it's just like really shitty anime drawing. Just a girl who loves female competition. The cattier, the better. I sponsor and collect artworks of female cat fights and wrestling. I tend to have a dark. She's tampering and dork-sided stuff. She's dark-sided. And like stuff more erotic and rough. If you're such as zippers and stopping, very erotic. If you're an artist who can draw cat fights, I want to hear from you. Dork-sided. Shoutouts to anyone who understands my dork-sided reference. It's one of my favorite in-jokes. I don't know if I've ever talked about that on stream before. It'll be our secret, chat. It'll be our secret if you know that reference. Do I want to watch this? 2 minutes? Okay, I can take a sip of water.
Fascinating, huh? We also found this one.
What does this say? Hold on.
Don't know.
Pretty little girl.
That's not me.
Pretty little girl 16.
That's not me.
So
you know
what's
who
her
else they
MySpace
found?
data?
They found some housewife on Facebook and tried to implicate her. I have that too. But that's not me.
This isn't you?
No.
Are they trying to say this is you?
They are, and that is a problem for them.
Wait, where is the evidence that this is you? Their
I'm not
Foxy
sure.
Fighter addresses, the same password as Mark Kern's email.
Searching a Pwn database, which is a database of dumped
They
passwords
did
and
not
email
search
addresses. We
Pwn
found the
database.
Foxy Fighter email.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
All right,
I don't know what Pwn databases is.
What that is am I pwned? So if you want to search for data breach on your password, you can go to amipwned.com. And
I already covered all this. He's just going to deny it. That's not interesting. I want more Cope tweets. This was a dox on myself for malicious intent. What Western Kabuki did was a full dox with illegal means, reaching back well over 20 years to try and dig up dirt on me. This guy, by the way, when I was 12 years old, this guy was writing lesbian fan fiction that involved stomping. Or, I guess not. He was using red cameras to film softcore. A derangement of cross-dressing male hate you at Grummz. You must be doing something right. I am the most persecuted game dev in history. I'm the most persecuted game dev in history. Well, I don't think I've ever done this before. Give me a second. I'm in a weird mood right now. I have an inclination to do something that I've not done before. Let's see. I like that one a lot. Except he typed it wrong. He typed in all caps. I am the most persecuted game dev in history. The most persecuted game in history. Author Grummz. And then that. All right. Oh. Now that will be in the random quote rotation chat. I feel so inspired. I've never done this on stream before. Just show you a day in the life. A day in the life. Can we watch Foxy Fighter? I don't know, man. That sounds like a bad idea. Another one of his reactions. They tried so many times and failed so many times. They have nothing left. They know they will swat next. That's what they do. Evil scumbags. I'm trans, by the way. Which I guess is supposed to be a joke. Like, you can't make fun of him if he's trans or some shit. Wokie's losing it. He's like morphing into Patrick Tomlinson in my brain. I'm winning too much, getting too loud. Their latest kill shot, doxing, lies, botted reply spam, and fake community notes. They coordinate all this behind locked Discord servers. I've got the receipts, and they are freaked, ejecting people. This is a massive coordinated harassment machine. Hundreds or thousands of replies per day. But they won't stop me. Louder every day, and in this to fight to the finish. Replies are verified for now to let them waste their bot money and filter their crap. Ubisoft is locking replies. It's a comparison because Ubisoft lock replies. No, this is contemporary. Wokies, oh my guys, Grummz is so owned. Think about it. Ubisoft now replies directly to me. Oh, he got made fun of by Ubisoft, like an official account. I think that's in the lineup. Is that in the lineup? I don't know. There's people react. I post about video games, and together we are winning. For that, they turn to illegal dark web means, death threats, and doxing to target Smash, Giga, and myself and others over video games. Pathetic and evil. The lefties. Oh, did I read this one? Yeah, I did. This is a really good quote, too. Yeah, actually. This is a really good quote. That's a really good one. Let's see. I'll correct him for him. They put me in a position where I have no choice but to destroy their ideology. BR. Oh man, you really didn't want that. This guy is so cool. I wish I could be like this guy. Like, because this guy's cool. This guy's a hard. Bam. Oh, and then I forget when I do BRs like this, I usually put a second quote. Okay. Let us continue, chat. I think everyone can see how standing up for gamers against DEI has cost me on a personal as well as financial level. I knew full well back in March when I started what they would do, as I watched them for over 10 years dox, harass, cancel, and try to destroy others. Anyone who says I do this for a grift is lying. I willingly pay the price for freedom against the woke mind virus. That's like the Elon alarm. Elon! Ting, 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 ting. Elon! Ting, ting, ting. I'm talking about the woke mind virus, Elon! I need help! just like you got like a spotlight pointed in the sky like for Batman, like Elon, woke mind virus. I did it because I felt like it was now or never, and thank goodness, sorry, there is no God to this man, only goodness. Thank goodness we are winning. Opera GX took the second to hit the dab and say, we are currently developing a feature that will remove any trace of Grummz from the web. 100,000 likes. Really? I didn't realize that this. Oh my god, 176,000 likes on 8.2 million views for a dead ass browser nobody uses. Okay, I like it. That's funny. I didn't realize this was such big news because I didn't pay much attention to it. So I just thought, oh, this is like a silly internet thing. No, apparently this is 8 million views worth of attention. That's just Opera being silly, doing their marketing. Okay, Grummz actually replied to Opera. Let's see. You know you are getting too effective when an entire browser company is trying to erase you from the internet. Opera GX fully triggered winning. It was for real. He thought that Opera GX was going to market itself as being the company that has the browser that completely obliterates any mention of Grummz from your screen. That's really funny. This is like this is what happens when you have too big of a ego or autistic and or all three, because it's like, how do you read this, especially like on April Fool's Day? You think like, yeah, this is it, especially from Opera GX, because they're known to do like silly stuff in their tweets and get like a lot of attention. So madness. There's a full-scale assault happening, not just against me, ever since Elon's Hassan post. Use Brave instead. He doesn't realize that being against stomping and cavity scratching is not like a left and right issue. And if it was a left and right issue, it sure as would not be the conservatives who are like, yeah, bro, me and my wife do stomping, scratching all the time, bro. Like, that's not, it would be like like, you know, it'd be the left. That's like for liberty and self-determination and shit, as opposed to having any kind of societal commitment. That's insane. I can't believe he took what an idiot. They just make a really good product. I actually, no cap, for real, on God, I have switched from Brave to LibreWolf because I was writing code. I've actually been writing code again the last week, excitingly. And while I was running stuff, and I was on Arch, my Brave browser took out so much, I almost said mana instead of memory, because in Arch or Linux in general, when you're out of memory, it says OOM, and OOM is an acronym in video games for when you're out of mana and can't cast any more spells. So when I read it, I thought, oh, I ran out of mana. No, I ran out of memory, and Brave took all my mana, took all my mayonnaise, and and crashed my entire desktop. And I was like, it closed everything out because the came in and just slaughtered my desktop application. Like, oh. So I switched from Brave to LibreWolf. And I've actually been quite happy with LibreWolf. There's a couple of things that annoy me about it, but it's doing okay. That's the image I don't want to show you, where he's like poking the belly. You can find this in the thread if you really want to. It's not, but it's just like in the immortal words of Godwinson. I don't know what that anime thing is, but to me that's very suspicious. Oh, I did. Sorry, I was looking at my notes. I forgot one other thing. One of the other things that I didn't even mention is that he worked at Blizzard. And lactation was like one of the recurring trends of his fan fiction stuff, and it's really ironic because if you remember, Blizzard was the company that had women's bagged breast milk stolen out of the company fridge. So I don't know. I think there is a non-zero possibility that Grummz was perhaps indulging in the company milk tank while on duty, and he has carried that with him outside of his work with Blizzard. We may have found him. We may have found the guy after all this time.